All right, welcome to the Huntsman Experience Workshop for the Information Systems major. You are required to do this workshop so a hold doesn't get placed on your registration. Also, you're a new admit to the business school, and this is something that require all our new admits to the business school to do because I just kind of give some general information about your new major. So it doesn't matter if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, you still have to do this workshop. And then it just lets you get the chance to meet myself and Valerie as well. And that's part of your success team here in the Huntsman School. So we'll get started. So with meeting your team, like I said, my name's Nick. I am the academic advisor for the major. So I help with your questions and whatnot while you're in school. And then Valerie is our career specialist or career coach for the major, and she helps you with finding that job or internship or anything like that. So she helps with like kind of the what's next. Like we understand that you're here. We're hoping that you finish out your degree in information systems. So Valerie kind of helps with like, okay, what can you do with that degree? And then the QR code that you see in the center of the screen here, that is how you schedule an appointment with Valerie or myself. And in our office here, we only do appointments by scheduling them with us just because we know how valuable your time is as a student. Also, we don't want to be like rushing through your appointment to get to the next student that might be in our waiting room. So that's why we have that scheduling system. They're 30-minute appointment blocks. We typically have appointments, probably 5 or 6 appointments on our day. You have to schedule an appointment 24 hours in advance with us for you to be able to see that. So just schedule an appointment with us to come meet with us so we can understand your academic and career goals. And if you are a statewide campus student watching this workshop today, meeting with your statewide campus advisor. So these are our academic advisors for the information systems for a statewide campus. So meeting with the one that is listed for the area that you are currently attending classes through. Valerie meets with our statewide campus students and our Logan campus students. So if you need any career advice, meet with Valerie. But for academic advising, if you're a Logan campus student, meet with me. If you're a statewide campus student, meet with one of our great statewide campus advisors. And then for our appointment policy, we do have a 10-minute grace period that is allowed for any maybe unforeseen things that pop up throughout your day. We understand you're busy. So let's say you have an appointment scheduled at 2 p.m. and you show up at 2:11, that's going to be marked as a no-show. And the reason we do that is because we understand that, yes, we understand things pop up, but we also encourage you to kind of build in those habits of being on time for things. I always use the example of if you showed up 10 minutes late for an interview, they're probably not going to honor that interview anymore. So just kind of making sure to show up on time for those appointments. If you do need to cancel, you can do that on your end through the scheduling system, or you could just shoot me a quick email if you have time being like, hey, something came up this afternoon. I won't be able to make our appointment anymore. Just let us know. And then the freshman academy here, so business 1,000. So this is just for incoming Huntsman freshmen only, and it's just offered on the Logan campus or Logan campus. So if you're a statewide campus student, you don't need to do this. If you are currently in your first semester here in the Huntsman School, we encourage you to do this. Or if it's your second semester, we encourage that. But this is just if you're coming from high school into college, first time college student. So if you're already like a sophomore, junior, senior, and like already maybe even taking classes or are transferring from a different major within Utah State, don't worry about taking this class. And then student email accounts. This is incredibly important to check. So this is that A number at USU that the university gives you. And this is how official correspondence comes between Valerie, myself, professors, really anybody at the university will be sending. If they're sending out information, it's going to this account. So you might be watching this recording, you might have missed the live workshops that we sent out, or the live workshop times that we've sent out because you didn't attend those, so you have to watch recording now to avoid the hold on your account. So just making sure to check that student email account. And then also it verifies that you're a student here as well. So due to kind of some of the government regulations and whatnot, it helps us verify that like it's the actual student we're talking to. And then next, some in the classroom stuff here. So minimum graduation requirements. So a minimum total number of credits is 120. So that is a requirement that all Utah State graduates meet. So it's pretty set on that 120. So if you're at 119, that's not 120. So just making sure that you do get to that 120 credit total. Again, just come meet with us so we can set up a graduation plan for you. Come meet with me. So we can make sure that we do have those credits in, because I know there is a couple classes that you'll have that will double dip as some of your general education and depth education requirements. So there is some room for some of those open elective credits to take. And then a number of those credits needs to be 100 of those credits need to be a C- or above. And then 40 upper division credits. So that will be easily covered within your major. And then general education, depth education credits, you can see on the screen there. And then degree requirements, we'll go over that in the next couple of slides here. And then a 2.5 GPA in your overall, your USU, and then your Huntsman major. And then if you have a minor, 2.5 as well. For all of our business majors, they take a set of classes that we call the business acumen, or you might hear me refer to them as kind of just like our general business courses. So out of these 17 classes, it requires a grade of a C or better for the information systems major. And the reason we have students do these classes is it's kind of two parts. One, it allows you to explore the majors that we offer within the Huntsman School without losing ground towards graduation. So let's say you just chose information systems because it sounds the most interesting to you, but you're open to doing other options, or you're exploring your options within the business school. This can help. And then also just making you a well-rounded business person for when you graduate and you go into the field and you start working with businesses and you start working with different maybe departments like the accounting or finance or marketing department. You at least understand maybe some terminology and stuff that they're using. And then for our information systems major requirements, so you must maintain a 2.5 GPA or above. And then IS 4250, this is the internship class for the major. Valerie will talk about this later on too, but for this class, you need to get instructor approval and then obtain an internship or job in the data or information systems field. And then that's to be able to register for the class. So it's an actual class you take. So it's 3 credits. Like I said, you need that instructor approval and an internship. So be proactive about completing this requirement, because it always pains me when a student gets to their senior year and they haven't done their internship yet, and then they're trying to get it waived, because a lot of times the department's not going to waive the requirement. So just be proactive and understand that that is a required course for graduation. And then one of our emphasis areas in either data engineering, web development, or cybersecurity is required. You're more than welcome to do more than one of those, but at least one of those areas is required. So if you haven't had an emphasis declared yet, come talk to me, email me, schedule an appointment so we can talk about at least getting you in an emphasis. We can always change it later on, but I always like to at least have it on a student's degree works page, which we'll talk about next, just so then you have a general idea of the requirements you have left for graduation. So navigating degree works here. Hopefully by now you have used degree works, maybe been talking about degree works. I know they go over in connections and some of your other classes a little bit. So degree works is just a list view of all the requirements that you have left for graduation. It's not how you're supposed to take classes or anything like that. So come meet with me so we can build that plan. And this is where if you want a graduation plan or that semester by semester plan, or just want to talk about the next coming registration, normally I will house those classes in the plans tab that you can find on DegreeWorks. So yeah, come meet with me so we can set up that plan and go more in depth of DegreeWorks if you want to learn more about DegreeWorks as well. And then next, a minor is not required for graduation, but we encourage students to do minors if they think it will enhance their career path. And let's say your information systems with data engineering, a lot of those jobs can turn into like consulting type of jobs for companies with building out systems. So I always encourage our students to look into the consulting minor. For the IS major, you're not able to do the business minor or the management information systems minor, as those are your major. So you're majoring those, so you can't minor in them, but I encourage students to look into any of our other minors as well. And then start desk here to kind of wrap it up before I pass it over to Valerie and have her kind of talk about the career side of things. The start desk is located on the Logan campus, in between the Huntsman Hall and Eccles Business Building on the second floor. So this is where our student mentors will sit and answer any quick advising questions or any quick career questions, like with resumes or anything like that. They can give you a student perspective on things, as they are our business students in various different majors with various different involvement within the school. So they can give you perspective on like maybe what general education classes to take or what professors to take from. Because as an academic advisor, I don't suggest general education classes for students to take, because I didn't attend Utah State, so I don't really know the classes, but also our interests are different. So I don't want to suggest you take a class that you might absolutely hate. So I want you to take a class that be intentional with those classes and take something that's going to be interesting to you. And then same thing with the professors. We just got to be unbiased towards any professors, and kind of same thing. I didn't take any classes through Utah State, so I really actually don't know the professors that well. I know the data and IS professors pretty well. They're all awesome, but if you're asking what accounting professor you should take, I would tell you to go talk with the student down at the start desk and whatnot. But I'll pass it over to Valerie here now, and she can kind of go over the career side of things.
Super. Thank you so much, Nick. As Nick mentioned, my name is Valerie Reese, and I am the career coach that supports our information systems students. And I'm so happy to be able to talk with you about some of the resources available to you. To start off, I have a couple key takeaways that I hope that you'll remember these few things, if nothing else. As Nick mentioned, one, an internship is required. So the earlier you do it, better. Internships are unique to college. It's a limited time frame where you're able to be paid to explore a career for that 12 to 15 weeks, or maybe you choose to have a longer internship experience. When we talk about internships, I am referring to paid internships. I think that's an important thing to distinguish. The second thing I would say is to get involved, to be intentional in the activities that Huntsman has to offer. 3, meet with Nick and I regularly. We're your success team. And then 4th, and perhaps most importantly to most of you, is my goal is to help you get a job by the time you graduate. And we can best do that as we work together and as you own your education. So we're going to talk about some resources that are available that will help you know what resources you can use, and then how to line up that job when you graduate. So first off, the first 2 Canvas courses I'm going to talk about are available to our statewide campus students as well. Hopefully you see them both on your Canvas landing page. The first one we'll talk about is the Huntsman First Year Experience Canvas course. The course is designed to acclimate you to the resources here at Huntsman. And the first activity that you can complete to get points for is by attending this workshop. So just by attending, you can get points for participating. You'll learn how to own your education, and this will facilitate your career readiness and success. This course is competitive, and there are prizes and recognition associated with your participation. You can also earn a badge for career readiness that you can put on your LinkedIn profile and or resume. And what this does is helps you to stand out to recruiters regarding your career readiness. The second course I want to talk about is this Dare Mighty Careers. This course is tailored to your major, and you can see 10 modules. If you want a quick resource on things such as resumes, interviewing, career exploration, that type of thing, you can see a high-level overview resources there. The most important thing I want you to know about this course is this is how I communicate with you all. I'm really careful about just sending one announcement each week on Wednesdays so that you don't feel spammed. And in this announcement, the first section is usually activities or events that are relevant to your major. And then there are internships and job opportunities that are listed. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, there are links for clubs, the Slack link. So you can click on that so you can be involved. Next thing I want to talk about is this Focus Friday. This is also something that is unique to Huntsman students. And some of the events may be difficult for our statewide campus students to participate in, but we do have one flagship event each semester in the fall and September. It's the Career Expo that usually lands on the fourth Friday in September. And so it may be worth coming up to the Career Expo because it's a great opportunity to talk with employers who are looking to fill summer internships and jobs. In the spring, we usually have our mock interview day, and that's usually virtual. So that one is an easy one for statewide campus students to participate in. And that one is usually in September. We also have what we call leadership forum activities. And so they're usually held between 10:30 and noon. And we've had past senators, we've had CEO from Pepsi company, we have many business owners, both alum and non-alum, and internships have even been handed out at these events. So I always encourage students to come and participate in these events. They're great for career exploration and also networking. And when we meet individually, networking is something that we'll talk a lot about because it is so important. And just backtracking a moment and talking about Focus Fridays and why we have them, it's intentional that Fridays are left open for the most part for classes. And the reason is because Huntsman had a vision for students at the school, and allowing students that time for professional development is really a career accelerator. And so this goes back to one of the things I said at the beginning is being intentional and owning your education. So by coming and participating in these Focus Friday events, that's one way that you can intentionally interface with people and make connections. Another Focus Friday event that we have is what we call backpack to briefcase presentations, where we invite industry professionals to come and talk about topics we hear students talking about. And I think that's mostly it for Focus Friday events. The next topic is student involvement. And so some of these events, if they're campus clubs, that will be difficult for statewide campus students to participate in. But other than that, all of the other activities we're going to talk about in this section, statewide campus students can participate in. Being involved is critical for many reasons. It'll make your college experience more fun and will contribute to your professional success. And again, I think Nick and I cannot say enough that it's so important to do your internships, to do them early and to do them often. The pro tip is when you're doing your internship, I would encourage you to talk with people both within and without your department, because you'll have the opportunity to line up a following internship or job that next summer, depending on where you are in school, if it's been a positive experience for both you as the student and the employer. So that can be a really great opportunity. And Nick, do you want to share your experience about an internship?
Yeah, I can share my experience with my internship that I did when I was in school. So, like Valerie said, internships are incredibly important, especially for that information systems major, because it is that requirement with the IS 4250. But to share my internship story and why I kind of will get on a soapbox here about internships is it's so important to do it earlier on if you can. I know sometimes it's just kind of how it works out, but try to do it as early as possible, especially if you know, like, hey, I know I want to do information systems. This is kind of the degree that I came to Utah State for, and this is something I've loved, like maybe since high school or since you got here after taking Data 2100. But I was a health and human performance major for my undergrad. And I wanted to go into physical therapy or athletic training. So I was debating between the two. So my last semester of my 5th year of my undergrad, because I was a student athlete, so I took one more year to finish out my eligibility. I did an internship that final semester, so a couple months before graduating. About a month or two into the internship, I was doing an athletic training internship. I realized that I didn't want to go into athletic training or physical therapy, and then I just kind of had a freak out moment of like, all right, well, what am I gonna do? I'm graduating in May. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. I just spent all this money on a degree that I know I'm not gonna use. So what kind of my next steps? Luckily, I had some good mentors in my life to kind of help me and direct me towards eventually going, once I graduated my undergrad, I went right into a master's in higher education, leadership and administration. And then that's how it led me to becoming an academic advisor, because I knew I really liked the aspect of like helping people in a sense, but I didn't like the scheduling with how physical therapy and athletic training was. So I was like, well, how can I still help people, and how can I still help the students I want to help? Like I really wanted to work with kind of college age students. I knew that was a big thing. So I was like, academic advising is going to be what I land in, and that's eventually what I end up doing. That's what I'm doing now, and I've been enjoying it. But do internships early and often to help explore what you're learning in the classroom. Is if you're enjoying what's in the classroom, hopefully it translates to enjoying what you'll be doing for a future career eventually. Because kind of with me, it's like I really like what I was doing in the classroom, but I just realized that like the career side of things I wasn't gonna like as much. So I made that switch very late, and I do regret it sometimes. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that valuable experience, Nick. I appreciate it. The last two things I want to say about internships before we talk about some other ways to get involved is when we talk about internships, I'm talking about paid internships. I know I said that earlier, but I just want to reiterate that we're talking about paid internship opportunities. And the second thing, talking about internships, when I talk with recruiters about student resumes, two of the things that they look at on student resumes to gauge how interested a student is in their field is they want to look for experience outside of the classroom. So the first one is internships, and then the second one is club involvement. So that's where I want to shift my gears to next, is talking about that club involvement. And the club that we have that supports the information systems major is the AIS, or Association for Information Systems. And under that parent club, as I call it, there are sub clubs. So we have a club for cybersecurity. It's the student organization for cybersecurity. We have the data engineering club. We also have women in tech. And then we have the analytics solution center. So that is a center versus a club. And so for the ASC, it's a great opportunity to work with real world data while you're being mentored by our phenomenal faculty in the data IS department, and also make connections with companies whose data you're working with. And students who do this have a great opportunity, again, to have that real world experience, which is different than any class assignments you'll ever do. And you'll have that opportunity to network with companies. And typically, if it's been a positive experience for the student and the employer, it's not uncommon to then get a full-time offer out of that experience. So now talking about other ways to get involved that are applicable for our statewide campus students. One is called SEED. It stands for the Small Enterprise Education and Development. And so this is a semester-long experience that allows you as a student to gain skills in teaching, funding, and mentoring. So basically, you're able to apply what you're learning, and that can make a big difference in the experience you have to offer as you apply for those jobs. Another global opportunity is called Global Learning Experience, and students are able to go to locations such as France, Europe, South Africa, and Peru, just to name a few. And the last club I want to mention, which is harder for state campus students to participate in, but it's the herd as represented by our picture there in the middle. And our student club, the herd, is the loudest student section in the nation as measured by the Richter scale. So that's impressive. I always like to mention that. Moving on to our second to the last topic is Your Story Matters. And so this is something that we have implemented. We're working on collecting stories from a diverse group of people. The more diverse, the better. Would love to collect stories so that students have the opportunity to hear from their peers what their experiences were, whether it was about an internship experience, whether you're a first generation student, maybe you're a non-traditional student, whatever your story is, we feel like your voice should be heard and there are your peers that will benefit by that. And we feel it's one of the best way also is to perpetuate Huntsman's legacy. And part of his legacy is where we get the phrase "dare mighty," which actually comes from Teddy Roosevelt, but that's another story. But the idea is that we're attempting to dare mighty, to do something big. And sometimes when we do that, we face obstacles. And the thing that's important is how we manage that obstacle. Today, we had a leadership forum on failing forward and to succeed strong, given by a former CEO from Nike. And she did a phenomenal job about explaining that. And just to backtrack quickly to our Focus Friday events, just to let you all know, they are archived on the Huntsman website in past Focus Friday events, or you can go to the YouTube channel, Huntsman YouTube channel, and find them there too. So that brings us to our last topic of dreaming big and setting goals. So for this slide, I'd like you to pause for a moment and just think about what is your big dream. If you could do or be anything, there were no limits of time or money or whatever resources you would need, what is it that you want to do? And then remember that Nick and I are your success team, and we're here to help you make that dream become a reality. And the way that we do that is by creating a plan. And you'll see the SMART goal outlined on the right for how to write an effective goal. And I always think of one of the Franklin Covey habits for successful people. It's to begin with the end in mind. And so that's just what we're talking about. Once we identify what your big dream is, then let's start from the bottom of the slide and work up. Then let's create a semester goal that feeds into that big dream or that dare mighty. And then let's set 1 to 4 week goals that lead into the semester goal that fit into your big dare mighty. So if you want to look at the screen really quick for a moment, or you can go back if you need more time, you're going to be invited to set goals that fall in these time frames. So this last slide, if you want to get your phone out, you're going to scan this QR code. A survey will pop up and just tick all the boxes that yes, we covered all of the subjects, and then you'll be able to set your own big goal. And so when Nick and I meet with you, we'd love to refer to your goal and if you don't know what you want to do right now, that's okay. And if your goal changes, of course, that's also okay. But we're here to make your dream a reality. And the more we know what you need, the better we are to know how to help you. So the other thing to know about this is you'll need to submit it. This is verification of your participation and attendance, and the survey results will go directly to Nick. Without it, a hold will be placed on your schedule, so you won't be able to register for classes for next semester. And so in conclusion, I just want to say how happy I am to be here at Huntsman. I love the focus on student success, and I look forward to daring mighty with you. I'll turn the time back over to Nick.
Yeah, to just kind of echo what Valerie just said, make sure to fill out this form. So whether it's scanning the QR code, going through the quick survey, it doesn't take too long. The setting your goals is probably what's going to take the longest. So whether it's a QR code or the URL to the form down there at the bottom of the screen, or if you just can't get the URL to work or the code to work, reach out to us. You can reach out to Valerie or myself via email. and we can send you that link as well, just to help you get that form to avoid that hold on your account. But yeah, come meet with me and Valerie. We're here for your success. Your success is our success, so we always love meeting with students and understanding their different career and academic goals. So yeah, come meet with us, but thank you for attending the workshop, and go Aggies.